But why is it any worse to offend religious people than to offend telepathists, astrologers, or spoonbenders? Another example of the same thing, some of you may have come across the Darwin Awards, which are these things given annually to honor people who've improved the human genome by accidentally killing themselves in really stupid ways. And of necessity, the honor is awarded posthumously. Well, these things are often very funny, but you have to admit there's something a bit sick about it, a bit perhaps slightly lacking in taste. They do, after all, involve people getting killed, and you might think that the people who run the site would therefore be somewhat insensitive types, not over-inhibited. But my secretary came across a newspaper item which she thought was worthy of consideration for a Darwin Award, and she submitted it. And the story I'm telling you is about the reason why it was rejected. The story she submitted was about a preacher in the Deep South who decided to handle a rattlesnake in order to demonstrate his faith in the power of God. And the rattlesnake bit him and he died. And so my secretary sent this in as she thought a worthy winner of the Darwin Award. It was rejected, not because it wasn't funny enough, which is perhaps arguable, but because they wouldn't even consider anything which involved mocking religion. You can mock anything else, but you cannot mock religion. Our friend Douglas Adams, I expect some of you knew him, said a wonderful thing which was recorded, fortunately, at a Cambridge conference that I was privileged to be at. I'm going to read this out. It takes a while, but I think it's interesting enough to be worth it. He said, those of you who know him will have to imagine his voice, which shines through everything that he wrote. Now, the invention of the scientific method and science is, I'm sure we'll all agree, the most powerful intellectual idea, the most powerful framework for thinking and investigating and understanding and challenging the world around us that there is, and that it rests on the premise that any idea is there to be attacked. And if it withstands the attack, then it lives to fight another day. And if it doesn't withstand the attack, then down it goes. Religion doesn't seem to work like that. It has certain ideas at the heart of it which we call sacred or holy or whatever. That's an idea we're so familiar with, whether we subscribe to it or not, that it's kind of odd to think of what it really means. Because really what it means is, here is an idea or a notion that you're not allowed to say anything bad about. You're just not. Why not? Because you're not. If somebody votes for a party that you don't agree with, you're free to argue about it as much as you like. Everybody will have an argument, but nobody feels aggrieved by it. If somebody thinks taxes should go up or go down, you're free to have an argument about that. But on the other hand, if somebody says, I mustn't move a light switch on a Saturday, you say, oh, fine, I respect that. The odd thing is, even as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, is there an Orthodox Jew in the audience who's going to be offended by the fact that I just said that? But I wouldn't have thought, maybe there's somebody from the left wing or somebody from the right wing or somebody who subscribes to this view or the other in economics when I was making the other points. I just think, fine, we have different opinions. But the moment I say something that has something to do with religion, we all become terribly protective and terribly defensive and say, no, no, we don't attack that. Why should it be that it's perfectly legitimate to support the Labour Party or the Conservative Party, Republicans or Democrats, this model of economics versus that, Macintosh instead of Windows, but to have an opinion about how the universe began, about who created the universe, no, that's holy. What does that mean? Why do we ring-fence that? For any other reason other than that we've just got used to doing so. There's no other reason at all. It's just one of those things that crept into being, and once that loop gets going, it's very, very powerful. So we are used to not challenging religious ideas. But it's very interesting how much of a furore Richard creates when he does it. This was a headline in the London Daily Mail, which I've always greatly treasured. To resume Douglas Adams's speech, everybody gets absolutely frantic about that because you're not allowed to say these things. Yet when you look at it rationally, there is no reason why those ideas shouldn't be as open to debate as any other, except that we've agreed somehow between us that they shouldn't.